हेलो दोस्तों, दिस इज भारत कुमार एंड यू आर वाचिंग माय चैनल निर्मल इन्फो अपडेट्स।
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.
A 28-year-old Pakistani doctor on H-1B visa has been indicted by a federal grand jury on pledging allegiance to the Islamic State terror group and expressing his desire to carry out lone wolf terror attacks in the U.S. According to the indictment, Muhammad Masood, a licensed medical doctor from Pakistan, was formerly employed as a research coordinator at a reputed medical clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. The indictment against Masood was announced on Friday by U.S. Attorney Erica McDonald. Masood was initially charged by criminal complaint and has been in custody since his March 19 arrest at the Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. Between January and March this year, he made several statements to others, including pledging his allegiance to the Islamic State of Iraq and al-Sham, ISIS, and its leader, and expressing his desire to travel to Syria to fight for ISIS. Masood also expressed his desire to conduct lone wolf terrorist attacks in the United States, the court papers said. On February 21 this year, Masood purchased a plane ticket from Chicago to Amman, Jordan, and from there planned to travel to Syria. On March 16 this year, Masood's travel plans changed because Jordan closed its borders to incoming travel due to the coronavirus pandemic. He made a new plan to fly from Minneapolis to Los Angeles to meet up with an individual who he believed would assist him with travel via cargo ship to deliver him to ISIS territory. On March 19, Masood traveled from Rochester to Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport, MSP, to board a flight bound for Los Angeles, California. Upon arrival at the MSP, Masood checked in for his flight and was subsequently arrested by the Federal Bureau of Investigation's FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. This case is the result of an investigation conducted by the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. Masood is in custody at the Sherburne County Jail, Fox News reported on Friday. According to the allegations in the complaint, Masood, a licensed medical doctor in Pakistan, was working in a medical clinic in Rochester under an H-1B visa. The proposal to open up the army to young professionals has been welcomed by Anand Mahindra, the chairman of the Mahindra Group. The tour of duty scheme for the Army is meant to allow civilians, including young working professionals, to join the force for 3 years as officers and in other ranks in areas like logistics and frontline formations. In a letter to the Army, Mr. Mahindra said the young, fit citizens of India will get an opportunity to gain operational experience in the Army both as soldiers and officers through this voluntary 3-year program. I definitely think military training will be an added advantage for tour of duty graduates as they enter the workplace. In fact, considering the rigid standards of selection and training in the Indian Army, the Mahindra Group will be happy to consider their candidature, he added. The Army is also considering recruiting personnel from the paramilitary and Central Armed Police Forces for up to 7 years, after which they would be allowed to return to their parent organizations, military sources have said. The game-changing proposal to allow civilians to work for 3 years in the Army is being examined by top commanders. If approved, it will be a voluntary engagement and there will be no dilution in selection criteria. Initially, 100 officers and 1,000 men are being considered for recruitment, Army spokesperson Colonel Aman Anam said. I definitely think military training will be an added advantage for tour of duty graduates, Anand Mahindra said. The sources said details of the proposal are being worked out. Age and fitness will be among the key criteria for recruitment under the tour of duty or 3-year short service scheme. There is a resurgence of nationalism and patriotism in the country and the proposal attempts to tap the feelings of the youth who do not want to join the Army as a profession but wish to experience military life for a temporary duration, a source said. The proposal is set to be discussed at a conference of top commanders of the Army, after which the process would be taken forward, the sources said, adding the scheme will also save cost for the Army. The Army currently recruits young people under short service commission for an initial tenure of 10 years, extendable up to 14 years. According to the proposal, the people to be recruited under the tour of duty will be eligible to be deployed as combatants in key forward locations and there will be no restrictions in their roles. The sources, quoting an internal study, said the Army would gain significant financial benefit from the scheme as it will save a huge amount of money on gratuity, severance packages, leave encashment and pension. The Army has made a comparative study on whether the training costs on people to be recruited under the tour of duty would be justified with their subsequent limited employment for only 3 years. The initial approximate financial calculations show that the financial benefits accrued would be exponential. Sources said the cumulative approximate cost of pre-commission training, salary and other expenses is nearly between Rs 5.12 crore and Rs 6.83 crore on an officer if he or she is released after 10 and 14 years. However, similar costs for those released after 3 years would be just Rs 80 lakh to Rs 85 lakh each. The proposed Northern Theater Command along the border with China should also have a small Navy element in it as some of the naval systems are useful there, Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, General Bipin Rawat said. He also said the naval fighter aircraft can be deployed in the western sector in the desert areas when not required at sea to effectively utilize existing resources. Theater commands will mainly be between the Army and the IAF. While it is the northern border, there should also be a small Navy element, General Rawat told a small group of journalists during the week. Referring to the Navy's fighter jets, he said, "Can we not bring some of the naval assets to the land borders?" Saying the naval fighter jets can operate in deserts and the IAF jets there can move to the other borders, General Rawat said, "There is not much of difference between sea flying and desert flying." General Rawat had in the past said the capabilities of the Navy's P-8I long-range maritime surveillance aircraft were used for observing the Chinese movements during the Deklam standoff in 2017. The first of the integrated commands in the works is the Integrated Air Defense (AD) Command headed by the IAF, followed by a Maritime Command and then the land-based theater commands. Separately, Army Chief General Manoj Naravan said at an event that they have carried out a few brainstorming sessions, but the specifics of the theater commands have not been firmed up, like whether the entire Western Front can be one theater or the Northern Front can be one theater. Soon we will have a presentation by the IAF with the representatives from Army and Navy, and we will flush out the contours of the AD command, General Naravan said. We will do it as per the Indian operational requirements and with Indian characteristics. General Rawat said the study on the AD command is underway and he already had the first presentation and the standing instructions should be issued by year end. In 2 to 3 years it should take shape, he said. He said the idea is that all air defense resources of the 3 services should be under one commander and ensure that there is no fratricide. The command and control instructions should come from one person in 3 years. Operational instructions will be issued on the theater commands, General Rawat said, adding that it will take shape after that. The Navy has already started a study on the Maritime Command. The next step in the integration is having common communications, which presently the 3 services have their respective setup, and also common training establishments and equipment where possible. Basically, with integration, maintenance and logistics elements go down and bringing a lot of savings, he said. Yeah.